The sky was a merciless furnace, baking Willow Creek into submission. Daniel Harper stood on his cracked driveway, clutching a letter that felt heavier than his mortgage. The Willow Creek Homeowners Association's gold embossed logo mocked him, its words a guillotine, noncompliance, lawn violation, 7 days to restore green condition or face fines, liens foreclosure. His lawn, once a lush emerald, was now a brittle, yellowed wasteland, Tim of the worst drought in 50 years. Water restrictions made sprinklers illegal, yet here was the HOA, threatening to steal his home over dead grass. Daniel's pulse thundered. This wasn't about aesthetics, it was a declaration of war. 3 years ago, he bought this house post-divorce, a fresh start for himself, and weekend sits with his kids. Willow Creek was suburban perfection. Coordinated mailboxes, pristine hedges, lawns so uniform they seemed computer-generated. Daniel played the game, mowing to the HOA's 2.5-inch standard, even snagging Lawn of the Month once. But the drought changed everything. By June, the state declared an emergency. Rivers shrank to trickles, and watering a lawn could cost you $500 in fines. Every yard in Willow Creek faded, Daniel's included. He figured the HOA would cut them slack. Nobody could fight nature. He was wrong. The letter came from Margaret Voss, the HOA's compliance director, a woman whose name alone made neighbors flinch. It demanded his lawn be green and well-maintained per Section 7.1, no exceptions, drought be damned. Failure meant law 100 daily fines, a lien, and if he didn't comply, foreclosure. Daniel read it twice, his coffee going cold. Foreclose on his house? For grass? In a crisis so bad the governor was begging people to skip showers? He called Margaret, hoping to reason. Her voice was polished ice. Mr. Harper, the covenants don't bend for weather. Green lawns protect property values. Your yard's an eyesore. He cited the water restrictions, the utilities fines, the sheer impossibility. That's your problem, she said. Other homeowners manage. 7 days. When he asked for a variance, she laughed a sharp, dismissive sound. The board flagged your property as the worst. Focus on solutions, not excuses. The line went dead. The next day, Margaret appeared in person, a petite figure in a tailored blazer, wielding a clipboard like a scepter. She measured his grass with a laser to VYC, muttering about 4.8 inches, 79 fan tram brown. Daniel stood in his doorway, arms crossed. We're in a drought, MS. Voss. Watering's illegal. She didn't look up. The Nelsons installed a cistern. The Carter's truck in water. Commitment finds a way. He bit back a retort about the thousands those solutions cost money he didn't have. Margaret handed him another notice. 7 days, Mr. Harper. Green or consequences. His neighbor, Claire, caught him later, her voice hushed. You've met Margaret the Merciless. She fined the Lopez's due law 1,200 for a late hedge trim last year. The Browns lost their home after medical bills delayed their landscaping. Claire glanced down the street. She's run compliance for 9 years, treats Willow Creek like her empire. Daniel frowned. Why do people let her? Claire sighed. It's easier to pay than fight. She buries resistors in violation trash cans, paint shades, anything. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. This house was his anchor, proof he'd clawed back from rock bottom. Losing it over grass was absurd, yet the threat was real. He emailed the HOA board, attaching drought articles, restriction notices, photos of other brown lawns. The reply was a slap. Standards upheld. No variance. Comply by deadline. Then the violations multiplied. Dust on his siding, due law 50 a day. A non-approved porch planter, due law 30 a day. It wasn't enforcement, it was a siege. By day 3, Margaret was back, citing his mailbox for faint discoloration. She stood on his lawn, smirking. 4 days left. The liens drafted. Daniel's hands clenched. You're targeting me. Her eyes gleamed. You signed the covenants. Maybe Willow Creek's not your fit. Claire dropped by later, whispering a bombshell. I'm the board's secretary. Margaret's pushing your lot, because her cousin's development firm wants it for a model home. Force you out, they buy cheap. Daniel's stomach churned. This was no petty power trip, it was a hustle. The HOA her weapon. He called a lawyer, but the news was bleak. HOAs can foreclose over minor breaches, the attorney said. Fighting's costly, due law, $8,000 minimum, no guarantees. With 3 days left, Daniel sat on his porch, staring at his doomed lawn. The air was thick with dust, the sun a relentless hammer. His neighbor, Ethan, joined him, handing over a water bottle. Any plan? Daniel shook his head. Sods do law 4,000 and dies without water. Fake turfs banned. Ethan paused. My uncle worked golf course maintenance in Arizona. During droughts, they'd paint the grass green. Non-toxic. Last week's looks legit. Daniel blinked. Paint it. Ethan grinned. Turf colorant. Stadiums use it. You can buy pro stuff or mix eco-friendly paint yourself. The idea was ludicrous, a fever dream fix. But as Daniel's phone buzzed Margaret's text, 72 hours. Inspection scheduled, defiance sparked. If she wanted green, he'd deliver his way. That night, he researched. Turf colorant was really used by resorts, fields, even HOAs in dry states. It was safe, didn't harm grass, and mimicked live con v wine singly. Pro kits were too expensive, delivery too slow. So he went rogue. The next morning, he hit hardware stores, buying non-toxic paint in emerald, lime, and olive, plus sprayers, tarps, and buckets. He snagged a sample of real turf colorant to guide his mix. Ethan and his sister, Lila, a painter, signed on for the heist. Wednesday night, they struck. Daniel's garage became a war room, paint cans gleaming under a bare bulb. Lila mixed the first batch forest green, a hint of lime, diluted to a fine mist. They tested it behind the shed, tweaking until it matched the colorant's sheen. Not bad, Lila said, brushing paint from her hands. From the street, it's grass. Daniel nodded, heart racing. Let's move. They worked under cover of darkness, headlamps slicing through the haze. Ethan taped off the sidewalk, protecting it from overspray. Lila wielded the sprayer like a maestro, layering greens to mimic natural variation lighter near the drive, deeper by the oak. Daniel blended seams, ensuring no patches screamed fake. By 1 a.m., half the lawn glowed under their lights. This is nuts, Ethan whispered, grinning. And it's gorgeous. They finished at 3:30 a.m., hiding the gear in Daniel's garage. The lawn was a miracle lush, uniform, defiantly green. Lila staked a sign. Drought-safe turf solution. HOA compliant. Do not water. Daniel skipped work, showered, and parked a chair on his porch with coffee in hand. At 10 a.m., sharp, Margaret's SUV rolled up, followed by board members Greg and Susan. Margaret stepped out, clipboard poised, her smile predatory. She expected ruin, a checkmate. Then she saw the lawn. Her heels caught mid-step. She froze, eyes wide, as if reality had glitched. Greg coughed, hiding a smirk. Susan tilted her head, murmuring, wow. The lawn was a masterpiece, its green so VYVYD it seemed to hum. Margaret marched forward, her heels crunching the still-dead grass beneath. She knelt, scraping a nail across a blade, her face twisting as truth dawned. You painted it. Her voice cracked with rage. Daniel strolled over, calm as a summer breeze. Eco-friendly turf solution, MS. VOS. Industry standard for droughts. Meets section 7.1 green, maintained, done. He offered a printed covenant, highlighted. Margaret's hands shook. This isn't what the rule means. Daniel shrugged. Show me where it says the grass has to be alive. I've complied, saved water, and spared the HOA bad press. Neighbors gathered, phones out, whispers spreading. Claire beamed from her stoop. Ethan leaned on his fence, feigning innocence. Greg cleared his throat. He's right, Margaret. The violation's gone. Susan nodded. It's clever. And legal. Margaret's clipboard hit the dirt, her silence louder than any threat. For once, she was outmaneuvered. The lawn gambit became legend. The paint held until rains returned, re-VYVYing the real grass beneath. At the next HOA meeting, packed with angry residents. A drought exemption passed, curbing landscaping rules during emergencies. Margaret kept her board seat, but lost compliance duties to Susan, who favored sanity. Word spread her cousin's firm scrapped their land grab, spooked by a VY Rowell blog post about Willow Creek's painted rebellion. Daniel's lawn thrived again, naturally green. He kept a paint can in his garage, a trophy of sorts. When his kids VY sighted, they begged to hear the story, giggling at the idea of their dad as a suburban outlaw. Margaret still drove by, her glare sharp, but Daniel just waved. Sometimes, the only way to fight a tyrant was with a brush and a plan, and sometimes, one lawn could change everything. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.